Good evening and welcome to the debut edition of Tide Talk Live, powered by TideTalkSports.com. Jonathan Sanford here tonight with you, along with Ricky Green, one of the main guys here at Team Tide Talk that makes it all happen. Good evening, Ricky. I'm glad to be with you here tonight.
Good evening, no doubt. Glad to be here myself. And I don't know about one of the main guys that makes it happen. We all work very hard. We are Team Tide Talk, and we're proud to be.
That's right. That's right. Team Tide Talk, way to go, man. I'm so glad to be here with you folks tonight, and along with Ricky Green, as we bring you again the debut episode of Tide Talk Live. And let's talk a little bit before we get into our first segment tonight, just what this is all about, Ricky. This is all about you out there tonight. You are who drives the conversation here on Tide Talk Live, and we want to hear from you tonight. So here's what we want you to do. Pick up that telephone tonight. Call us 205-878-6678. Again, 205-878-6678. We want to hear from you tonight during the show, Ricky, and that's really what it's all about. The folks out there tonight, they are going to be the star of this show.
That's right. No doubt about it. We want our viewers to drive the conversation this evening. We're excited to get this thing rolling. Hope everybody can be active in the comment section, get on those phone lines and call in, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, another thing I want to talk about, Ricky, real quick is two things. First of all, want to encourage everybody out there tonight to make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber yet to TideTalkSports.com for Tide Talk Sports here on YouTube, tell them how important it is, Ricky, for Tide Talk Sports that they do that here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we have a great partnership with our guys over at Chat Sports. We have the Alabama Football News and Rumors channel, and that is one of the main ways that we are able to keep TideTalkSports.com free for everybody that's looking for information on Alabama athletics. Very important. If you're here with us tonight, if you're not already a subscriber, we're trying to reach 7,500 subscribers on the channel here, and we sure would appreciate it if you'd hit that button for us right now.
If somebody's brand new to Tide Talk Sports, tell them, Ricky, really and truly, where you got your start, where this really came from, and just the idea that you have for the future of Tide Talk Sports.
Yeah, you know, there's a saying around here, when you start from nothing, we got it out of the mud, and we definitely did that with Tide Talk Sports. Stacy Blackwood and Jake were really, really good about talking what they wanted to do and sharing their vision with me. We were able to start the website. It has grown astronomically, and we're just really excited about where we're at right now and looking forward to the continued growth that we hope to have over this year, 2021, and into the future as well. We are very, very excited about being able to bring premium insider information on Alabama athletics to Crimson Tide fans, without that pesky monthly subscription fee.
That's right. We always talk about the hashtag no paywall, and really what a blessing for people out there that want to learn inside information about the Alabama Crimson Tide to be able to come to TideTalkSports.com, learn that inside information without that subscription cost like you talk about, Ricky.
Yep, no doubt about it. One thing that we know for sure at Tide Talk Sports is Alabama fans work hard for their money. And we're not trying to take it from them like some of our competitors do. We're not hiding behind a paywall. What you see is what you get at TideTalkSports.com, and we try to bring you the best information that we possibly can.
Hey, I got to say this before we go any further tonight, Ricky. I think this is the first live show in the history of YouTube to have two redheads.
It might very well be. I hope nobody's startled when they looked and seen that there was not one but two red-headed people at Tide Talk Sports now. And we're just excited about having you on board with us, Jonathan. A absolute professional. Couldn't be happier about bringing you on board and about seeing where your vision can help us grow this YouTube channel now and in the future.
I'm just excited to be part of Team Tide Talk. You know, it's been a dream of mine for a long time. I moved here to Texas. I married a Texan, got to Texas as fast as I could, or so that's what you're supposed to say anyway, if you are not a native Texan, as you got here as quick as you could. But like the old Alabama song says, my Home's in Alabama, no matter where I lay my head. Roll Tide to that, Ricky.
No doubt. Roll Tide to that. As Randy Owens used to say, oh so beautifully, my home is in Alabama, no doubt.
That's right. Hey, let's go ahead real quick before we get into our first segment. Say hello to some of the folks who have joined us for this debut edition. I see folks down in the chat area. Andrew Duggan saying, "What's up, Dad?" Lenny the Gump Summer saying, "Roll Tide." C. Bama saying, "Roll Tide." Gamer Festus saying, "Here we go." James Yoder saying, "Can I get a Roll Tide?" Yes, you can get a Roll Tide. Andrew Duggan with a Roll Tide. So a lot of folks joining us already, Ricky, and that's encouraging for us here in this debut episode.
Absolutely, it's encouraging. Didn't really have super high expectations because, like you said, it's our debut episode. But I think we've got a really good product for the people that are here tonight. And if they can go and tell 10 of their friends and they tell 10 of theirs, it won't take us but just a week or two to have this thing completely full to the point that I'm worried about the website being able to handle it. So,
all right, are you ready to talk some Alabama football for just a moment, Ricky?
If it's not Tide Talk, I don't want to hear it.
That's right. All right, let's bring up just in a moment here. We want to talk about our first segment tonight, and really what we're going to be talking about here has been on a lot of folks' minds, a lot of Alabama fans after the championship season, really starting to wonder about the future, especially this quarterback battle that's going to take place here in the spring, if we're allowed to have spring football, which it looks by all indications we will. But a lot of folks right now are asking the question, who is going to be QB1? So we want to hear from you fans out there tonight who you think is going to be QB1. But, Ricky, talk about the folks that are in this battle for QB1.
Sure thing, man. Before we get all into that, real quick, if you're in the comment section right now, go ahead and let us know what you think about this quarterback battle. Give me a PT for Paul Tyson, a BY for Bryce Young, or a JM for Jalen Milroe. Let us know who you think will be the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide this upcoming season. Can't wait to see what everybody thinks about that. I know what I think about it. I think Bryce Young is going to be hard to beat. Now, Paul Tyson is a very talented quarterback in his own right. He's not here just because he's the great-grandson of a legend in Paul Bear Bryant. He's a talented quarterback in his own right. And then with you having those Texas ties, Jonathan, I know you know all about Jalen Milroe and what he can do.
Yeah, you know, the Katy Tigers here in the state of Texas are perennial Class 6A champions here in this state. In fact, they had not, going into this past season, they had not lost a district game in several years. We're talking like 10, 15, even 20 years since the last time Katy had lost a district matchup. It was Jalen Milroe and his team that were able to beat the Katy Tigers this year in district and upset them, and it was really on the back of one Jalen Milroe, who did a great job in that game leading his team. So when you talk about these three guys, I think really and truly when you talk about them, there's three kind of ways that you can look at each one. First of all, Paul Tyson, he's kind of that prototypical quarterback that Alabama has looked at in the past. He is what? I think he's 6'5", isn't that right, Ricky?
Yep, 6'5", right around 230 pounds. So kind of would put you in the mind of a young Jake Coker. Definitely your prototypical pro-style NFL-looking QB, no doubt.
Let me ask you this. Are we talking about Paul Tyson like this today if Mac Jones doesn't have the type of season that he had last year?
You know, very good question. Maybe not. I could see very easily if Mac struggled and did not have the season that he had last year, there would have been an opportunity for Bryce Young to go ahead and come in and take this thing by the throat and really own this quarterback job. And we may not even be talking about a competition for this spring had Mac Jones not been able to have the success that he had last season.
When I look at all three of these quarterbacks, I think there are questions about each one that kind of steps up in my mind. And that was kind of it with Paul Tyson. Yes, you're exactly right. He's not at Alabama just because he is a family member of the great Bear Bryant. He's there because he's Paul Tyson, and he has the skills to get the job done. But the question, again, behind him is, can he overtake Bryce Young? But with Bryce Young, there are some Alabama fans that are quite vocal that are questioning whether or not a West Coast quarterback can come into Alabama and have success. And they always seem to mention one Blake Barnett. If you remember that name, Ricky, we all remember that scenario going into the 2016 season. You had Blake Barnett, who everybody thought, for all intents and purposes, was the dyed-in-the-wool starter for the Crimson Tide. And right over the street here, right up down from my house, Jalen Hurts over here at Channelview High School made his way there to Alabama, an early enrollee, and ends up coming into that game there in the Jerry Dome, and the rest is history. But is there any worry for the folks out there about Bryce Young being a West Coast quarterback, or is that just fodder?
I don't think it's an issue personally. I've heard the same as you have, though, that there are those concerns. And you get some concerns as well about Bryce Young's stature, but his stature doesn't worry me. I watched him play in high school at a level that it's been a very, very long time since I've seen a high school quarterback play at the level that Bryce Young did. And I just think that he's one of those natural quarterback types that regardless of his stature, he just makes plays. Bryce Young is a playmaker, and you can't teach that. I think if it winds up being Bryce Young, we'll be just fine. But I'm equally as confident in Paul Tyson and Jalen Milroe. I think that the system that we have in place at the University of Alabama will really be able to take whichever guy wins the team and wins that starting job. And I believe that our offense will be able to be molded in such a way around whoever it is that is QB1, where we'll have success regardless of who wins that battle for QB1.
Well, let's highlight some of the comments in the chat section. Before we do, want to remind you, you can call in tonight, be part of the show. You are who drives the conversation here at Tide Talk Live tonight. Again, 205-878-6678. Again, 205-878-6678. That's the number to call. And make sure you join us here tonight. We'd love to hear from you, especially right now in this topic of conversation as we look at the QB1 battle. But let's look at some of the folks in the chat area who voiced their thoughts, as you talked about. Gerald Baxter says he believes it's going to be Bryce Young. Stephen 2 Cents also with a vote for Bryce Young. Jason Parrott with a Paul Tyson vote. Let's see. Bryce Young there for Atlanta Gerbic. Cynthia Williams, another Bryce Young. I think there's a recurring theme here so far, Ricky.
Definitely looks to be that way, no doubt about it. Bryce Young is popular amongst Alabama fans, and for good reason. The kid called his own offense in high school, and by the way, played against some of the most elite high school football teams in the entire nation and did a fantastic job at that. Bryce Young is uber talented, and I believe that he could be the guy for that QB1 spot.
Yeah, when you talk about Matter Day and the competition that he had to play in his senior season there, it was very impressive. I mean, there are no two ways about it. And Alabama fans, when it was talked about that he was coming to Alabama, I remember just the enthusiasm on everybody's voices and hearing and seeing it on the chat sites and on Twitter, folks just ranting and raving. But there have been some folks that have looked at his little bit of work this past season. He came in mop-up duty, right? Very limited offense. And so some people are judging him based off of what they saw in that limited availability this fall. What do you think of that, Ricky?
Well, I think that it's borderline unfair to use such a small sample size as a means for why you may be concerned about Bryce Young. Let's be completely honest here. Knowing that he was a true freshman, playing in the Southeastern Conference where there's some of the absolute best pass rushers in the nation as well, they were pinning their ears back and coming after Bryce Young every snap he took. That is one of the biggest reasons why I will reserve judgment until we have a bit larger sample size.
All right, coming into this spring, it's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, really and truly, Ricky, Bill O'Brien has a clean slate, right? I mean, he has a blank canvas. and he has 3 very talented quarterbacks. He has 7 running backs in the running backs room. You're talking about an abundance of wealth. He has this at his disposal coming into this spring. But what would you like to see out of each one of these guys? Let's start with Paul Tyson. If we get a chance to see Paul Tyson this spring, is there one thing that really stands out to you that you would like to see out of Paul Tyson?
I think that I want to see how Paul reacts under pressure. When he was in high school, of course, I'm big time following recruiting. He had a pretty good offensive line. You didn't get to see him under pressure a lot. If I had to say one thing that I would like to see with Paul Tyson is how does he react when the bullets are flying and people are really able to get a pass rush on him? Can he remain cool and calm and efficient in operating that Crimson Tide offense?
Now, for somebody that watched him in high school, how would you compare him athletically with Mac Jones?
I think he's very, very similar athletically. You know, I mentioned earlier that he kind of puts me in the mind of a young Jake Coker. And I think that is a pretty good comparison for where he is right now. Maybe a young Jake Coker, not going to burn you down the field, but can definitely move enough in the pocket to give those wide receivers a little extra time to get open. And somebody that is definitely big enough in stature, sort of similar to what Big Ben has been able to do. He can run over you if you tempt him, I believe.
All right, then let's talk about Bryce Young. Bill O'Brien, Bryce Young now. What do you hope to see out of him in the spring?
I want to see from Bryce Young, there were times when he got on the field this past season where it looked like things might have been moving just a little bit too quickly for the young true freshman quarterback from out in California. I want to see the game slow down some for Bryce Young. I want to see him look a little more comfortable in the pocket. His ability has never been under question. I know he can make all the throws. I know he's plenty mobile enough to get away if he needs to. But I just want to see the game slow down a little bit for Bryce and see if he can reflect some of that same calmness under fire that we saw from Mac Jones this past season.
And this brings me to an interesting point before we move to Jalen Milroe. I mean, when we look back at Tua, and he was special, right? There's no doubt about it. We all enjoyed what we saw with Tua Tagovailoa. But when you looked at Mac Jones this year, you saw Mac Jones get rid of the football before he put himself in a position where getting hurt was really something we didn't see very often this year. Tua tended to hold on to the ball just a bit more, just to try to make that bigger play, right? Is there any concern about Bryce Young having maybe a similar mindset to a Tua Tagovailoa? And could this being in the quarterback room with Mac Jones this whole season actually be a good thing for Bryce in terms of learning how to get rid of that football and have that timing be right so you don't put yourself in harm's way?
Yeah, I think you're really tapping into something there that is something that a lot of people are not going to think about. But when it boils right down to it, really all you got to do is turn on that tape of Tua and the way that he operated. He was waiting on that home run ball, it seemed like, all too often. And
sometimes to a fault. Sometimes to a fault, if we're being honest.
Absolutely. And you would see those injuries. If I'm being completely honest, had he had a quicker trigger getting rid of that football when the play wasn't there, may have seen fewer injuries in his time at Alabama. And I truly believe that.
All right, before we move on to Jalen Milroe, we do have a call that wants to talk about Bryce Young. So let's welcome Robert from Mobile to the program. Robert, good evening.
Hey, guys. I just found your show. The conversation is quite interesting.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, man. This is our debut episode of Tide Talk Live, and so we're just glad to have you with us. And you want to talk about Bryce Young and this job.
Yeah, if Nick Saban holds his normal tendencies, which he usually does, I think it would be Bryce Young's job to lose. Much the same way you guys mentioned Jalen and Tua. Much the way it was that Jalen had to lose the job to Tua. And then because Nick Saban tend to want to go with what's comfortable because he wants that quarterback position settled quickly, which for obvious reasons. And Bryce Young, of course, will have familiarity with the team and with the players that the other two guys coming in won't have. And so I don't I would fully expect Bryce Young to be the starter coming out the gate in the when the Alabama starts playing. But the thing you said about him was correct. The game did seem to be too quick for him when he got in there, and there was a drop off, a visible drop off when Jones left and when he was in the game. And but like you said, but you see the potential. Some of the throws he made were next level, good. But yeah, his pocket awareness was not quite what it needed to be, for being able to start off. But he missed spring practice and all that last year. So maybe when he gets that this year and he'll get more reps, then we'll see from there. But I see the position as being Bryce Young's to lose. I don't think the other guys will be able to win it from him. Because the talent, because they would have to have talent that's beyond Bryce Young, way beyond. And he's got some talent. So I can see anybody being so good that you can't keep them off the field over him. But I think he can, like when Jalen Hurts lost the job, Bryce Young can lose it, but I think he will have to lose it versus somebody being able to win it from him.
All right.
With, just exceptional, extraordinary talent level.
All right, Ricky, your response to that?
My response is fair enough. I think that pretty much everything he said is very close to the way that I was thinking. I can tell you one thing. If you're looking for sunshine pumping, this may not be the place for you. We're going to keep it 8 more than 92 with you every day.
Oh, there it is. 8 more 92.
And I just believe, like he said, that this may be a situation where Bryce would have to lose the job. I could very, very easily see that playing out. Been given a tentative date today for spring practice, looking at March the 19th.
Let me go ahead and set my watch.
Set your watch. April the 17th for A-Day. So we're not far away from getting to find out. One thing's for sure, we're going to find out.
I might have to hop on a plane and get to Alabama if they'll let me do that. Hey, Robert, thank you so much for your call.
No doubt.
Oh, great show, guys. I'll keep listening.
Appreciate it. That was Robert from Mobile, our first caller. He'll go down in history, Ricky, as the very first caller here on Tide Talk Live. Again, powered by TideTalkSports.com. All right. As we keep going here in our conversation, the battle for QB1, we end with Jalen Milroe. Brand new guy on campus, a lot to learn. What do you want to see out of Jalen Milroe?
I just want to see him get comfortable in the offense. I don't have unrealistic, crazy expectations for Jalen Milroe. I know that he is a very talented quarterback in his own right, and his mobility is probably leaps and bounds, even for lack of a better term, above both Paul Tyson and Bryce Young. I think that Milroe is probably the best pure runner of the three, but I want to see him learn this offense and see how he starts to develop as a true quarterback, not really trying to be a running back playing the quarterback position.
As somebody who watched Jalen Hurts in high school, I've known Jalen since he was knee-high to a grasshopper. A lot of people that know me know that I was a minister in Channelview, Texas, and announced for Channelview High School, the Falcons there when, still to this day, Avery Hurts, his dad's the coach there. And I remember Jalen as this little kid, ball boy, running around. Never would have dreamed he'd have been the Alabama quarterback, though. I'd like to say I had something to do with that, but I know that's not true, Ricky, so don't go quote me and saying, hey, he thinks he got Jalen Hurts Alabama. I had nothing to do with that, although subliminally wearing those Alabama jackets, I hope had something to do with it.
Yeah, hey, I'm sure you had that script A on around every chance you had.
Here's the thing. When I watched Milroe this past season, there were so many similarities between the two guys. I don't know why, but there were things I saw on the football field between those two guys in their senior seasons that were really reminiscent of one another.
Yeah, there's no doubt there. And I myself at times watching Jalen Milroe thought, man, he looks a lot like Jalen Hurts. The way that he holds himself looks like the way Jalen Hurts held himself. That upright, proud posture that they both seem to have, very, very reminiscent, almost eerily reminiscent of Jalen Hurts.
And I got to say this. So at Channelview, their biggest rival is North Shore. And you know what North Shore is all about. Football in the state of Texas, Katy and North Shore and 6A football, they're the class best, right? And Jalen Hurts was able to upset North Shore, and Milroe was able to upset the Katy Tigers. So both of them in their senior seasons pulling out some big-time upsets of some of the biggest competition here in the state of Texas, which I think speaks well to their ability. So there you go. That is QB1. I'm just going to say at this point, I didn't think going into last season that Paul Tyson would be on my radar as a potential starter for this year. But after Mac Jones' performance, I am not writing him off. I'm just not. And I think there's something about this kid from the folks I've talked with who've said, again, what you've reiterated earlier, he would not be here if he was not talented and could not take care of the job if it were in his hands. Wait and see, because it's going to be one fantastic quarterback battle between these three going into the spring, Ricky.
Yeah, there is no doubt about that. This battle is going to be fantastic, and I believe that Paul Tyson could surprise some people. Look, let's be honest. Prior to the beginning of this past season, did you think that Mac Jones would be in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy?
Listen, I know for a fact in talking with Alabama fans all over this country that most of us felt like by game 3, and I heard it, and I know you did too, Ricky, by game 3 or 4, Bryce Young will take over that starting job. Now, tell me if I'm wrong.
Heard it all off season long and throughout the beginning of the season, and Mac Jones just kept performing, seemed like at a higher level every time he took the field. It was actually quite unbelievable sitting back and watching it unfold.
All right, let's bring up our next caller. We got Gerald, and he's calling us from Myrtle Beach, one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Gerald, welcome to the program.
Well, guys, glad to hear your first podcast. I'm excited to talk to you and talk a little Roll Tide football.
Hey, absolutely. That's what we're here for, and we're glad to be here for you. Gerald, you want to talk about Bryce Young a little bit and maybe how Bill O'Brien will affect this young quarterback?
Well, yeah, I do. I mean, I know, of course, Bryce Young came because of Coach Sarkisian, because of the offense he ran. Now, my question is going to be, is Coach O'Brien, who came from a pro-style type offense, even when he had Deshaun Watson, is his offense going to play into what we've done over the past 2 or 3 years?
Oh, good question.
Because if we run the same offense, then Bryce Young looks like a shoe-in. But what if he comes in and changes it up where it's most pro-style, might fit Paul Tyson that way?
All right, let's send it over to Ricky.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It all depends on what Bill O'Brien wants to do with this offense. If he wants to continue a read option heavy offense, it does, as you said, look like that would be perfect for Bryce Young. But now let's not forget that Bill O'Brien spent quite a bit of time coaching a fella named Tom Brady, who is not mobile, a definite pro-style only quarterback. And could an offense like that be a better fit for Paul Tyson? Definitely an interesting point that you have, and something that we'll have to watch and just see how that offense starts to take shape.
Yeah, let me
agree with you. And of course, if they get spring practice, you'll get more interest to your questions.
Let me add one more thing to that, Ricky and Gerald. This is still Saban's offense. I mean, we say that a lot with his defense. That's Saban's defense. Don't forget, though, Saban said this in the offseason in terms of the hiring when he was asked this question about Bill O'Brien coming in. He said, we are still going to run the same offense. Now, will Bill O'Brien have some influence on different aspects of that offense? Yes, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't see any wholesale changes to this offense going into this season. Any other thoughts on that, Ricky?
I think you're dead on with that. It is Nick Saban's show. We're not going to see any wholesale changes, but it'll be interesting to see the small tweaks that Bill O'Brien might make, much like any of the offensive coordinators of the Nick Saban era have done. They run that Nick Saban system, give it their own little flair, and it's worked out pretty good, I must say, over the past several years. I think we've won a few rings running that Nick Saban offense.
Yeah, and as one of the commenters said, Saban has said it multiple times. It's his offense, and it will not change. Now, I will add to that a little bit of a qualifier, and that is Saban always tends to make the little adjustments based on his talent. That's what has kept Saban at the pinnacle of college coaching, is that his ability to adjust to the strengths of his team. All right, Gerald, thank you so much for the telephone call.
Hey, guys. Have a good night.
Hey, same to you. Thank you again, Gerald from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I love having that caller with us here tonight. All right, let's switch gears for just a brief moment here, Rick. You know, we are going to talk about much more than Alabama football. Now, some of our competition out there, it's Alabama football all the time. But there's much more to UA athletics than just Alabama football. As much as we love the Crimson Tide and the football team, there are still some great sports that we want to talk about here at Tide Talk Sports.
Absolutely. You know, amongst Alabama fans, we joke about not being a football-only Gump. We have elite programs all throughout the University of Alabama. Those programs at that capstone, men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball, the adapted athletics program, even those guys and gals have won several national championships here over the last decade or so. So we have top-tier talent spread across several different sports at the University of Alabama, and we're going to talk about all of them here with Tide Talk Sports. We don't just do football like some of these other guys do. We love it all. And we're going to roll right into some men's basketball talk here, I believe, in this next segment.
That's right. The question on the board, Ricky, is will Nate Oats and Alabama, the men's basketball team, break out of – and you named this. You came up with the name, the February Funk. Talk about it a little bit more. And by the way, before we do that, we've got a caller we'll get to in just a little while when we're talking about a possible transfer to the Alabama football team. We'll come back to that here in a little bit. But let's talk about the February Funk. Take it away, Ricky.
So the February Funk, something that I really just started calling this situation earlier today. It seems like whether it was under Gottfried or Avery Johnson last year under Nate Oats, the month of February, the end of January, the month of February has been particularly brutal for the Crimson Tide's men's basketball program, really even further back than that throughout history. So like the question on the screen says, I'm wondering, not only will Nate Oats and Alabama be able to break out of that February funk, if you will, but how will they do that? What do they have to do to change the way things have historically been in the month of February?
Well, let me ask you this, because I think a lot of Alabama fans are very well aware of the attrition that this Alabama men's basketball team is currently facing. Guys like Jones, Herbert Jones, who the back issues becoming more and more apparent, but just what a yeoman's effort he puts out there every time the Tide take the court. Is this a little bit different maybe than some of the years past, or is this just par for the course?
You know, there has been an awful lot of attrition, and you got to wonder if that does have something to do with it. You know, like you said, these guys, to me right now, they just look tired. It has been a long season playing against some elite programs in their own right, a lot of injuries. And we're not talking about career-ending injuries. We're talking about just bumps and bruises, just flat out beaten up at this point during the season. Be very interested to see here over the next couple of weeks. Number one, if Nate Oats can get Herb Jones some rest and allow him to get healthy. But it's hard to do that, I know, when he's your best defender. How do you weigh, do I want to rest Herbert Jones or do I want to play him and try to get this W right now?
All right, now Missouri last night lost to Ole Miss, so now Alabama back up by more games over Missouri in terms of that battle for the regular season SEC crown. We talked about this privately the other day, but I want to put it out there for everybody. Do you care more about the SEC regular season crown? Do you care more about that or a deep tournament run? And as somebody who's worked in the NBA, toward the end of the season, Coach Popovich would shut down guys, Manu, Tony, Tim. He would shut them down for games at a time just to preserve them for a deep playoff run. Now, it's a totally different animal, an NBA playoff run versus an NCAA tournament, but is there any thought process, or are we just talking about shutting them down maybe practice-wise and not putting a lot of practice time in towards the end of the season? What does Nate Oats have to do, if anything, to get his team rested up? Or do you just say go full tilt and let it be what it is going to be and get that SEC crown? What do you think, Ricky? I'd love to hear what the fans out in the chat area have to say about that.
Well, I think it all boils down in Nate Oates' situation, particularly the SEC regular season championship being the first championship that they can win chronologically. It's been so long since we've even thought about winning a Southeastern Conference championship at Alabama. I really got to wonder what it is that Nate Oats really wants to do. Now, we've heard Nate Oats himself say that the Final Four would be the standard. Around here, we expect deep tournament runs as Alabama basketball fans. But what is it that we need to accomplish in the here and now? Do we worry about that SEC regular season championship? And then after we've got that, start talking about resting guys for a deep tournament run in March? I really think that it all depends on what is the most important for Nate Oats right now.
All right. Well, let's go to the telephone line now. We've got another caller. We've got Stephen from Marion, Alabama, and he wants to talk about Nate Oats. He wants to talk about Coach Oats, and what he has to do for this team to make the tournament. That's kind of what your thought process, Stephen?
It was. I mean, I'm a huge basketball fan, guys. I've been a basketball fan since I was 12 years old. I literally missed a day of class in the 6th grade to go watch a basketball game under Mark Godfrey. And I'm just so excited about what this team can do, what Nate Oats has got out here in the court. So just, in you guys' opinion, what does this team have to do to get into this tournament but make a run? Because I really want to see this basketball program get back to where it was under Coach Whip Sanderson and early on in Godfrey's career.
Ricky?
I think it's going to boil down to how healthy can we get, Stephen. When you have guys that are not only talented basketball players, but are also looked at to be the leaders of your team, guys like a Herbert Jones, like a Jordan Bruner, how healthy can we get? Because when we have those two guys in the lineup, this team has Final Four written all over it, at least in my opinion. How healthy can we get? Can we balance getting guys rested and winning in the here and now? And if we can do that, we could be poised, Alabama fans, to see a deep tournament run with the Alabama men's basketball program this year under Nate Oats.
Yeah, Stephen, you talk about –
Thank you, guys.
Stephen, real quick, before we let you go, when you look at this team, what's more important to you at this point, resting up for a deep tournament run or still really pressing towards this SEC regular season or the SEC tournament title?
I think, to me, I would like to see it pressed a bit more, but I understand you got to get Herbert Jones back healthy. I grew up with Herb. He grew up close to my hometown. I want to get Jordan Bruner back healthy, so I want to see Nate Oats get the guys back 100%. But at the same time, really would like to see this team pressed too. So whatever it takes to help this team get the tournament, that's what I want.
I look at guys right now like Alex Reese who have really contributed as much as they possibly can in the absence of Bruner. And then Rojas. Let's talk about Rojas just for a moment, Ricky. What do you expect, and what is a healthy expectation for James Rojas right now?
We hear Nate Oats talk about hard hat guys. Rojas is a hard hat guy. He is a max effort guy, may not be the most talented as far as basketball skills are concerned, but he's a guy that when I watch Rojas, I know he's going to leave it all out there on the hardwood every single night. Rojas, to me, is really kind of one of the unsung heroes up to this point in the season for Alabama. Just a guy that gives incredible effort, and we need him to continue to be a presence in the paint and on the offensive rebounding, getting those second and third chances. When you have guys like John Petty that you can kick that rebound out to, there's not going to be many of those second or third chances where we're not hearing string music when John Petty lets go of that basketball. So just continue to do what he's done and be that hard hat guy, have that mentality that he can't be beaten. And I think good things will continue to happen if we see that from a guy like Rojas.
Hey, real quickly, hey, Steven. Hey, buddy, we love you, man. Roll Tide.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for calling. We really appreciate it, man. Really do. Thumbs up to you out there, man.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, Roll Tide. Thank you again to Steven for calling us there from Marion, Alabama. Really appreciate him joining the broadcast. Any other thoughts here on the February Funk or this Alabama men's basketball team before we move forward?
You know, really, just before we wrap up this segment of the show, touch again one more time. Alabama is just a injury situation clearing up away from being a team that is capable of beating any opponent that is put in front of them. Really, really, to reiterate one more time, interested to see how Coach Nate Oats is able to balance rest and winning now.
Well, let's keep with that thought one more moment, and let's bring up Al from Anniston, Alabama. Al, you want to talk about the basketball team and kind of the way this team looks right now to you?
Yeah, guys, I agree with you guys, man. I think they might be a little bit weary, man, because that's the only thing I could come up with because of the layups they're missing, man. They missed so many point-blank layups, man, and those points probably would have won games.
That's a great point, Ricky. We've seen a lot of that.
Tired legs. That's what it looks like to me, tired legs.
Yeah, exactly right. I think the theme here, and tell me if you agree, Al, if this Alabama team can get some rest, get healthy, the Elite Eight, the Final Four is a very realistic possibility.
Oh, yeah, man. I really believe so, too, man. They have everything that they need. And I'm telling you, they got people over there probably on that bench, man, if they get a chance, you know, because I'm like you guys said, man, it's got to be the rest because the rebounding, they weren't having that kind of problem with rebounding that they only had it here lately, man. And I'm telling you, them tired legs, man, I'm telling you.
Well, hey, I cannot agree with you more, Al. It's been in my mind the last few games as somebody who knows what tired legs look like on the basketball court. It has just been symptomatic of what we're seeing. And you brought up about those missed layups. Guys don't miss those layups when they're fresh-legged, and that's happening a lot down the stretch. Al, though, I got to say again, I agree with you. They get healthy, get some rest. Boy, look out. It's going to be a fun ride if they can do that.
Hey, guys, I'd like to say one thing, though. I think Nate Oats has done a tremendous job, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, exceeded, I got to be honest with you, Al, exceeded my expectations.
Oh, yeah, because we have been in a rut with coaches, man, and I really think he has that hunger, man. He has that hunger you need, man. He has a hunger to win.
Well, I got to say thank you so much, Al, for the telephone call tonight. In Anniston, Alabama, let's see. Jacksonville State, let's see. The fort that used to be in Anniston, I'm forgetting the name of the fort there in Anniston that used to be the Weapons Depot, right?
Oh, Fort McClellan, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Al, for calling. Hey, do us a favor. Call again, man. We really appreciate it.
All right, man. I love you guys.
Hey, love you too, man. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
All right. Hey, we have got an update coming in from the women's basketball game. So we've got Hunter from Coleman Coliseum. Part of Team Tide Talk's going to be a little bit loud where he's at. But, Hunter, good evening. Give us an update from Coleman Coliseum.
Hey, guys. How are y'all doing?
We're just enjoying the show, Hunter.
All right. Well, we're kind of struggling here. We're down 26 seconds. Megan Abrams.
Got a lot of background noise there, Hunter.
Is it too much?
We're going to throw him on mute there for a second. I heard Rick Giles in the background, famous Alabama PA announcer, doing his thing in the background. So we're going to mute Hunter for a little bit, and maybe he can get a place away from the PA speaker. But it sounds like the women's basketball team trailing 10 right now at the half, Ricky.
Yeah, and, I heard him say the word struggle. I made that out of all that noise that we were hearing there in the background. And unfortunately, it seems like that has kind of been a theme around this women's basketball program at Alabama for a couple of years now. We have talented players. I'm really not sure what the deal is. Some of these girls at the University of Alabama can absolutely shoot the lights out. So it's a situation where you have to wonder, what's it going to take for the Alabama women's basketball program to take that next step and start to see some of the success that the men's team is seeing under Nate Oats?
All right, let's try one more time with Hunter inside Coleman Coliseum. Let's see, one more time. Hunter, we got you there?
Hey, yeah, is this any better?
That's a lot better. Go ahead,
Much
Hunter.
better.
Okay, so I'm actually in the bathroom of Coleman Coliseum now.
That's our on-site
Yeah,
correspondent
we're
right
struggling
there.
a little bit. Yes. So the women's team has kind of made a move towards the wide open spread offense, kind of like the men's. We haven't shot many threes. The ones we have haven't fallen. Missing a lot of layups. And we're just kind of struggling right now, but the girls are grinding, and I'm pretty optimistic about the second half.
For those that don't know, Hunter, who are the Crimson Tide ladies taking on tonight inside Coleman?
I'm sorry, we're playing the Ole Miss Rebels.
All right. And Hunter, before we let you go, coming into this second half, what are your expectations?
Coach Curry showed all year she's pretty good at making halftime adjustments. I just hope we shoot the ball better, kind of hold on a little bit better. We've been kind of bad on free throws, which is out of character for this team. So hopefully we can at least shoot, around 75, 80% in the second half. And I think that'll go a long way to getting the victory for us.
All right. Hey, Hunter, thank you so much for the halftime update there from Coleman Coliseum, as, again, the Crimson Tide ladies taking on the Ole Miss Rebels there and are trailing. Hopefully they'll have a better second half, Ricky, because I'd love to hear them have some success here as this regular season winds down. So I tell you, it's a great time now to transition to another subject that has really been, let's just say, on a lot of folks' mind. I've heard a lot of people talking about it. And let's just go ahead and bring this guy up on the screen, because he is who everybody, and excuse what you're about to see on this all Crimson Tide looking screen, but I'm going to show a player here. And Ricky, you know this player well, and we also have a caller that wants to talk about him. So I'm going to send it over to you and let you begin the conversation. Then we're going to bring up the caller.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That is Henry To'oto'o, one of the most talented inside linebackers to come out of the high school ranks in the past several years. Of course, started his career after a heated recruiting battle up in Knoxville at the University of Tennessee. Put his name in that infamous now transfer portal. And from the things that I'm hearing the past couple of days, looks like he may be on the way to the capstone after all. Alabama definitely finished second in his recruitment the first time around. Been a lot of communication there, and really the perfect stopgap for us at middle linebacker if indeed everything works out for him to be able to transfer to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, the next man up at that inside linebacker spot, I believe, is Jalen Moody.
Correct.
So if Henry doesn't come to Alabama, then Jalen Moody is the next man up. And that naturally gives us the opportunity to bring up Brett from Guntersville, who's been waiting on the line for quite a while. Brett, your question about this inside linebacker, What do you think when you look at Henry To'oto'o?
Hey, guys, first off, appreciate you having me. And read a good article on him today, and it was actually the guy was interviewing his dad.
Oh, wow.
His daddy said, we made a mistake the first time and didn't go to Alabama. We won't make that same mistake the second time.
Wow.
To me, it just looks like, that interview with his dad, he's coming south to Alabama.
Now, if I remember correctly, Tosh Lupoy and our defensive coordinator, Golding, they were his recruiters. Is that correct, Brett and Ricky?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I think so too. And, it's just interesting reading that article, his dad saying, so that the article the guy wrote it, he was pretty much set that he would be in Tuscaloosa. Hey, guys, I got you. I have one more I want to update from y'all on, and this is TJ Tolomola. I read another good article. A good article on him today. The guy seems to think that he will end up at Alabama.
That's what we're hearing. That's what Ricky and I are hearing. Ricky, you want to touch on that real quick?
Yeah, sure. So for the last few months, you heard a lot of chatter, Ohio State Buckeyes chatter for Henry To'oto'o. But I believe that the steam has really started to boil over the past couple of weeks. A lot of smoke around JT and Alabama. And it's just a situation where Nick Saban's ability to cherry pick top talent from across the nation never ceases to amaze me. I will not bet against Nick Saban when it comes to an elite five-star prospect like JT Tuimoloau.
All right. Thanks again to Brett from Gunnersville for the phone call tonight. And going back to Henry To'oto'o, there's one thing standing in his way, Ricky, of coming to Alabama.
That's right.
And what I'm hearing right now is it's that waiver from the SEC, and that is what is preventing him. I believe he's already made his decision. I'm just going to say that. I believe he's already made his decision. He wants to come to Alabama, but there's something standing in the way. You want to talk about that for a little bit, Ricky?
Yeah, sure. The NCAA one-time transfer rule was scheduled to be voted on last month in January. That did not happen. They pushed that vote back to April. And I read the same article yesterday that our last caller happened to be talking about. And it does look like Nick Saban has pretty much taken control of this recruitment. It's amazing when you see a coach like Nick Saban truly put on display that he has a player's best interest at heart. Basically, what I'm hearing is Nick Saban has told Henry that if this transfer rule gets passed and you don't have to sit out, come to Alabama, one and done, enjoy your career in the National Football League. So Saban is all but telling him, don't transfer and sit a year. Yeah. Let's try to be patient and see if we can get you playing this fall.
That's why I love Nick Saban. I mean, how many other coaches would be real and honest with a guy like that? That's a credit to Nick Saban. I think of guys, transfers to Alabama have been pretty good for us, right? Jake Coker.
No doubt.
Won a national championship. Landon Dickerson was the heart of this Alabama Crimson Tide team this past fall. I mean, if we can get Henry To'oto'o here next fall and he's able to play, really solves an issue for Alabama and really gives us some veteran work there at that inside linebacker spot.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He is the perfect stopgap. If you have any way that you can get an elite talent like him to come in, play 1 year next to a stud like Christian Harris, man, that defense at Alabama could really be something to see next season. If you get a guy like Henry T to Tuscaloosa.
All right. Got a surprise for you, Ricky. This Is Your Life. I mean, did you ever watch that show, or is that too old for you?
I remember it. I do remember
Okay.
it.
All right. Well, we've got a special guest on the line for you. Welcome to Tide Talk Live, Coach Hayes from Miami, Florida. Good evening, Coach Hayes.
My man.
What's going on, guys? How you doing, Ricky? What's up, man?
I'm cool as creek water. You already know.
That's what I was waiting to hear, man. You get me with it every time. I love it. I love it.
What's going on, Coach? What you got on your mind?
Nothing, man. I just wanted real quick, man, to say, hey, man, I'm happy for you, Ricky. I love it, man. It's a great show. I'm sitting there watching. I'm learning every time I talk to you and you guys from Tide Talk Sports. You guys inform me about things I, don't know about Alabama. I love, just college sports, but college football especially, man. But I just want to kind of just say congratulations to you, man. And I wish you nothing but the best. I love the growth, and it's happening fast, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
No doubt about it. I'm glad that you're doing a little bit of studying, though, Coach, because I know you are a Miami Hurricanes fan, and we've got a little date in Atlanta, Georgia coming up, so you keep hitting them books, all right?
We got to have a reunion there.
Listen, Ricky, hey, Ricky, you fall for the mouse trap every time. I just unlatched the door and you kicked it open. And that's what I wanted to talk about. My Miami Hurricanes, Alabama Crimson Tide, Atlanta. It's a showdown in A-Town, baby.
Atlanta's been pretty good to the Tide over the years, from what I understand.
Bryant Denny 2.0, some would call it. We're looking forward to a matchup. Miami. Go ahead, Coach.
No, go ahead, Ricky. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got it.
I was just saying I'm looking forward to the matchup, though. Miami is a team that, you've been very honest in our conversations about where they are as a program. What better measuring stick for where you're at right now and where you want to be than having an opportunity to play against Nick Saban and Alabama to start your season? That's going to let you know right up front where you're at.
Yes, it will. And boy, Ricky, I got to tell you, I love the way you slid that one in there, man. You are the man. You were quick on your feet, and I love it, man. But we're going to meet up September 4th. We're going to, like you said, we're going to get us a burger, and we're going to talk about it, man, and we're going to duke it out. Right, and we'll be friends when it's over.
I love it.
That's right.
I love it. Hey, thank you, Coach Hayes. We appreciate the telephone call, my man.
No problem. You guys do an excellent job, man. Have a great night, man. And I'll definitely see you guys. I'm going to continue watching.
Well, we're going to end with Roll Tide, Go Canes. We'll put it there for you. Give you a little bit of a help there.
Little love for you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. So you guys go ahead.
All right. So you got to tell me how this connection with Coach Hayes, because he seems like he's one of your boys.
Yeah, so Coach Hayes is one of the best in the business when it comes to breaking down highlight films of players. He's got his own YouTube channel where he does that. The WRE, I believe he calls it, Watch, React, Evaluate. He's good at what he does. He's very, very good at explaining to common folks like myself what exactly it is that these elite players do that make them elite at what they do. Coach Hayes is top-notch. Been a friend of mine for quite some time, and I'm really, really tickled to death that he took some time and called in this evening and let me beat on him a little bit about those Miami Hurricanes.
All right, let's go back to the telephone lines. We got Randy from Atlanta, Georgia. Good evening, Randy.
Hey guys, how's it going? Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you. What's on your
Roll
mind?
Tide.
All right, guys. So I guess I'm calling to really see if you can make me feel a little bit better. I'm a big Alabama fan. I'm a big Bryce Young fan also. I want the best for Bryce. I followed his recruitment closely. Watched a lot of you guys. You guys helped me out. But I saw him play a lot this year in games. It was often really late in games. But he often didn't get to come in until late in the fourth quarter. So, at that point, the opposition, they knew we were up 30 or 40 points most of the time. Their starters weren't in there either. There was a bunch of second stringers running around on the field. I just never, from the first time he played until he played the last time, I never really seen any difference. He looked exactly the same. And for someone we are looking for next year to step up and hopefully lead us to a national championship. It's the expectation every year. I just didn't see the flash, and I really want the best for him. Can you guys make me feel a little bit better?
I'm going to let Ricky go first, and if he doesn't take my answer, then I've got something for you. Go ahead, Ricky.
I'll do the best that I can to make you feel better there, Randall. Look, Bryce Young, as a quarterback prospect, has everything that you look for. He can make all the throws. He's elusive in the pocket. He can actually run to pass the ball. Oftentimes when he takes off in the pocket, he's not looking for a full-on scramble, a run to gain yardage. He's just buying time to set up that big play down the field. And I think he's capable. I believe that not having that spring practice really had to slow down his development at least somewhat. And I think we'll see a big jump between year 1 and year 2 for Bryce Young. Jonathan, what have you got about that?
All right. It's just a little bit of history, okay? Listen,
Okay.
Greg McElroy, before he started the 09 season, I remember the same comments about Greg McElroy. Now, A.J. McCarron didn't happen. A.J. McCarron, everybody thought he was sliced bread, right? I mean, greatest, before he ever played a down.
Right.
Jake Coker, all I heard in the offseason, he's got such a slow release. He's never going to succeed at Alabama. I heard that about Jake Coker. And then last year with with Mac Jones. Oh, man, he's never going to succeed like Tua Tagovailoa did. He's just not good enough. And by game 3 or 4, Bryce Young's going to come in and take over. The point is this. I think for me and for other Bama fans, sometimes we tend to judge these upcoming quarterbacks a little bit based too much on what we see in closing time. And what we see in closing time is a very basic offense, a lot of second stringers. Let's just give him a chance behind those ones. And then, you know what? If he doesn't succeed, I don't feel bad with Tyson. I don't feel bad with Jalen Milroe.
I agree.
I just think sometimes it's easy to – I'm not saying you're overreacting at all, so please don't misunderstand me, because I think what you're saying, there are other people that have had the same concerns. But when I look at him, I just keep going back to the years before when I've had those kind of doubts about some other guys, and then they've come in and really exceeded my expectations. I hope that helps a little bit, Randy.
Yeah, it does help. One, I may be looking at the wrong style of play. A lot of what I got to see from Bryce was high school film, and I was comparing high school film to playing in the SEC. That is apples to oranges.
Yeah, if he does,
I see that.
if he tries to do some of the things that you saw in that high school highlight tape in the SEC, he's not going to make it through a whole season. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest with you, okay? That he's not going to do that, though.
Yeah, also.
He's not going to do that because these coaches, Ricky, you know this, they're going to settle him down. They're going to ask him to perform a certain role and to succeed within that role. Am I right, Ricky?
Absolutely. And I will point to one other thing here before we wrap up with Randall. And you tell me if I'm wrong, Randall, but when you look at the offensive line that Alabama will have this upcoming season and that stable of running backs, it's got to make you feel a little bit better about that quarterback position, right?
And the Great Wall of Saban will hold.
That's right.
Hey, thank you for the call, Randy. We really appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm really excited you guys are finally doing a live show so we can talk to you guys. I love the show. I watch it every time I get a notification. So I appreciate the time. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Thank you very much for that. Hey, that was awesome. We got another caller up on the line. We're just kind of switching back to basketball one more time here tonight, and it's Jake from Falkville, Alabama. And Jake's wanting to talk to us one more time about Coach Oats. What's on your mind about Coach Oats?
Hey, guys. This is Ricky. This is Jake. Jonathan, good to talk to you. My question, or actually my thoughts about Nate Oats is, we got to pay the man. The way he's playing, the way he's coaching this year, these blue bloods are going to come after him hard here in a few years. Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, guys like that, teams like that, they're going to come after him. So we need to go ahead and pay the man. let's go ahead and keep him in Tuscaloosa for years and let him build that program and bring a couple of championships in basketball down there for us.
Ricky?
Let me ask you this real quick, Jake. Should we build the man a new basketball arena?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. 100%.
I had to ask.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've been going to that Coleman Coliseum since I was born, and that was in 1977. So, can we please?
Yes, please. Well, let's give the man a new basketball arena. Let him draw it up the way he wants it. Let the fans come back in. I know we're under this, COVID, and we got to stay safe, but full court advantage, in basketball is huge, and that atmosphere is the fans, and we got to have the fans back at full capacity sometime or another. Pay Nate Oats, let the man draw his own arena the way he wants it, bring the fans back in, and he's going to deliver for us. I 100% guarantee that.
I'm sold.
Winner, winner.
That's right.
Hey, thank you, Jake.
Guys, I enjoyed it. Roll Tide and keep it going.
Thank you, Jake. That was Jake from Falkville, Alabama, here joining us here on Tide Talk Live, our debut edition. Hey, Ricky, we've had a lot of phone calls. The phone lines have been full, and if we didn't get to your call tonight, I just want to apologize because we really didn't. I mean, we hope to have a big response, but this has been incredible. So thank you for that. But please call in and join us on the next show coming up this next Tuesday night. But we've got one more segment here, and I want to talk about it with you. Let's talk about the website for just a moment, Ricky.
Yep, TideTalkSports.com. The only place, as far as I'm concerned, on the internet where you can get premium insider information without paying that dad-blasted monthly subscription fee. No paywalls to get through at Tide Talk Sports. We're bringing the information, and, we've got a great team of writers. We're going to take a look at one of the articles that was posted this week by one of our writers, Corey Dees, talking about Jacoby Albert, I believe it was, a 2022 recruit from there in the state of Alabama. Our writers are putting some great content out for us. Couldn't be any more proud of them, and definitely want to take a few minutes here and spotlight some of their incredible work.
Yeah, and talk about real quickly as well, the writers doing an incredible job at TideTalkSports.com. The entire website just recently completely revamped, and what a great-looking website we've got and a chance to really highlight. By the way, Corey Dees, this article that we've got up on the screen right now, top-notch, folks. So head on over to Tide Talk Sports right now and check that out, because a lot of great information about an up-and-coming recruit that we're going to see here in the future. But talk about real quick what's been going on at the website and what these writers are doing.
We've been very fortunate. Like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of tonight's broadcast, the growth that we have experienced over the last 6 months really has surpassed anything that I could have dreamed that it would be. And we want to show our appreciation, not just say we appreciate you. So we have completely overhauled that website, got it looking like something that Alabama fans could be proud of. And we're not done quite yet. We will have a Alabama fan forum added to the site here in just the next day or two, a place where Alabama fans can congregate and again drive the discussion.
Well, you look at this brand new website, you got the YouTube link here, and don't forget about the podcast part of TideTalkSports.com. Tell the folks about that if they're not familiar with it already.
Yes, Stacy Blackwood has hooked up with the people over at the Believe Podcast Network, one of the biggest podcast networks in the country for professional podcasters, and Stacy has done a fantastic job with that. You can find our entire library of podcast episodes. I think there's 90-something of those bad boys on the website, and they're also available on whichever platform, major platform, that you choose to listen to your podcasts on while you're doing that there at home.
Yeah, and if you did not listen A great podcast dropped, 2 days ago with Joshua McMillan. Is that correct, Ricky?
Fantastic podcast episode. Joshua, of course, recently wrapped up his time there at the Capstone. Incredible young man, bright future for him. And we really appreciate him taking time out of his busy schedule to come and share with us and with Alabama fans everywhere his experiences there and his time at the Capstone, and really look forward to some of these next guests that Stacy's got coming up. I'm sure everybody's going to love it. I can't say too much, but I can tell you this: Stacy Blackwood has some bangers lined up for this podcast that's coming up here in the next few days.
It's going to be hard to beat Joshua McMillan. I mean, but because he was, I just love the way he came across and how personal he was in that interview. And I just really, Stacy did an incredible job of getting some great information and talking about at the end a little bit about Nick Saban. And so if you haven't listened to that, as soon as this is done, pop it on your podcast, your favorite podcast provider, and listen up to episode 94 of TideTalkSports.com and our Tide Talk Sports podcast. You will not be disappointed. I promise you that. It was incredible. So thank you, Ricky, for all the work that you guys are doing there on Tide Talk Sports to really up our game and to continue our growth here at TideTalkSports.com.
That's the goal. We want to grow every single day, and we want to be the number one source for all things Crimson Tide for fans of Alabama athletics, and I believe that we're getting there. Before we start to get into our wrap-up portion of the segment here tonight, I want to ask one more time, if you have not subscribed to the Alabama Football News and Rumors channel just yet, go ahead and do that right now. We have our videos covering all things Crimson Tide that go up 3 or 4 times a week. We've added now our Tide Talk Live show to our lineup, and we could not be any more excited about that. We are on the push for 7,500 subscribers, and we sure would appreciate your help in getting there.
And we're going to have to throw a party. When we get to 7,500, we're going to throw a party.
No doubt.
And then we're going to get to work the next day. 24-hour rule applies. You know that,
That's right?
24-hour rule, and then we're going to go towards 10,000. We're going to keep going, keep building, keep growing, and that's what we're here to do, especially Tide Talk Live, where you drive the conversation. Please, as Ricky has pointed out, if you don't understand that like button, subscription button, especially the like button tonight, if you've not already done so, hit that like button. It helps YouTube's algorithm to help more and more Alabama fans learn about Tide Talk Live and TideTalkSports.com. So, again, thank you for that. And please, if you're not already a subscriber, please do so. Help us to reach that 7,500 goal. As we start to wrap up, I got one question for you, Ricky.
What you got?
Did you have fun?
Oh, I had a blast, and I cannot wait to do it again.
All right. Well, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that we got this one in the books, and it's been a good show. We've had great callers. We've had some good conversation about all things Alabama athletics, and we're just excited about the future here of TideTalkSports.com and Tide Talk Live. And, Ricky, just thank you for allowing me to come on board here and be a part of this great effort.
Jonathan, I couldn't be any happier about adding you to the great staff that we already had. You are a professional in everything that you do. Every bit of the dealings that I've had with you so far, you are prepared, you are detail-oriented, and I couldn't ask for anything else. Thank you so much for joining our team and doing what you've done to help push us into the future, no doubt.
Well, man, I appreciate that. I already love our team, Tide Talk. I love the fact that it's Team Tide Talk, and it's a group of guys that really enjoy working together. They really do. I mean, they're motivated. They desire to grow this together, and that's what it really takes to grow an organization. And Alabama football and Alabama athletics is a great example of that. This team that we saw this past fall, they were one team, man. They were all about one goal. And at Team Tide Talk, we're all about one goal, and that's making TideTalkSports.com the number one source for all things Crimson Tide. Again, no monthly subscription fees. Hashtag no paywall, right?
Got to break down those paywalls. That's coming, though. We are excited that we don't have to charge our subscribers and viewers that $10 a month, $100 a year. and we believe in the way that we're doing things, and we believe that we're going in the right direction.
If you're like me, I got 5 kids. $100 is a lot of money.
That's right. That's a whole lot of ramen noodles at my house, buddy.
It is here. Same here, man. We go through some ramen noodles like crazy. All right. On behalf of all of us here at Team Tide Talk, TideTalkSports.com, I want to say thank you, first of all, to the guy behind the scenes tonight, Jonas Clark, our producer. Jonas does a fantastic job. If you called in tonight, he's in the screening room, did a fantastic job manning the screening room and helping this show go tonight. So my first thank you is to Jonas Clark for his work here behind the scenes tonight to make this a success. My second thank you is to you, Ricky Green, for everything you've done to get ready for tonight. And my third and certainly not least thank you is to all of you who have joined us for this debut episode of Tide Talk Live. Ricky, I'm going to give you the final words.
My final words for this evening, I'll echo your sentiments. Thank everybody that was involved tonight. You guys were awesome in the comment section. The phone calls just kept on coming. And if I'm being 100% honest, tonight exceeded my initial expectations and has really got me excited for what we're going to see in the next few weeks as we continue to grow Tide Talk Live. Thank you all so very much, and we'll see you next time. Roll Tide.